Hey, this is Irvin Griffin along with the TheNatureGirl30. This has been something we've been seeing a lot of videos on, and we just decided, you know what, let's talk about it. Now, we are a dating couple. We're not married. We've known each other as just friends up until about 2 years ago. So we're still fairly new in the whole relationship thing.
But we've known each other for over a decade.
Yeah, so we're no experts. We don't claim to be, and this is strictly our opinions. We don't know these folks we're about to talk about, and we don't know why they're splitting up. We don't have a clue why they're splitting up. But I'm sure everybody's heard by now the whole situation with Judge Mathis and his wife. I apologize for not knowing her name. I'll call her Mrs. Mathis for right now. But apparently Mrs. Mathis has filed for divorce from her husband of almost 40 years, Judge Joe Mathis. Now, everybody's been coming up with their thing and their theories, you know. Oh, maybe there was something going on we didn't know about. Maybe it was this, maybe it was that. Maybe even that, oh, Mrs. Mathis is following that trend. When they get to a certain age, they're trying to get out of a marriage so they can live their big life in their last few years. Now, that is an actual trend, believe it or not. That is an actual trend among not all women. Not all women are looking to do this, but a lot of married women are all of a sudden filing for divorce after they done had their kids, after they got established and everything. All of a sudden, out of the blue, are doing that. I personally don't get that sense with these two. I really don't. I don't get that sense with these two. I think it's just one of those cases that maybe they just grew apart. And plus, you don't know how their relationship was. I mean, chances are, if a couple divorces after, let's say 20 years, it was probably over after about year 5 to year 10. After 40 years, it was probably over after about 10 to 20 years. But they stayed together for other reasons. I mean, off the topic, another famous couple that still is together, but they're only together for other reasons. Vince and Linda, as in McMahon. And they've been together like 50 some years, but they're married in name only. And me and Regina both can go in a rant about them all day. But going back to the Mathis situation, truth is, we don't know. I don't get the sense that there's infidelity. I could be wrong. I don't get the sense that there's infidelity going on. I don't get the sense from him, definitely not him. And I don't think it's the case from her either. I generally think it's something else going on. But I've basically been talking about the first 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So I guess, well, I mean, what do you think on this? Because we both have had discussions off camera about this.
Honestly, we don't know. We're just making assumptions because they've been married for 40 years. We've seen this in Hollywood. And honestly, Hollywood is a trend. It's even a running joke that there's been no marriage that lasted longer than 10 years. And that's just a trend in Hollywood to where eventually when they get a divorce, they upgrade to somebody else. But in this case, we know that Judge Mathis is the old school cat. You know, they're together until they can't be together no more. But take a look at him. The guy isn't healthy looking. He looks very sick. He looks like he is going through a lot health-wise. Now, this is just my own personal opinion, but this is something that's been proven to be true. Becoming a caretaker is the hardest thing for any spouse to become because there's a lot of things that they have to sacrifice, including their own lives, their own social lives, their own personal lives. Everything that they want to do, they have to put it on hold to take care of their husband. But in their case, they have money. They can get a nurse. They can get an in-house nurse, have him being taken care of, and making sure he gets what he needs, and making sure he gets, the actual medicine as well as the facilities and everything he needs. In this case, I don't think that that's a part of it. That could be, but the fact of getting a nurse, whether you have insurance or not, more than likely they have enough to get the best insurance. But also the case to where that it's up to the spouse. Maybe the husband don't want to have a nurse. Maybe the husband don't want to have somebody coming in and checking in on him and giving him meds all the time. That's also a part of a dispute. It's not just agreeing to get a nurse and being taken care of for. There are people who are so traditional that they expect the wife to do everything. And sometimes it can cause a huge burden on them mentally to where they can't do whatever they want. And I kind of knew that their marriage was about to end when they went on all these trips. We've seen this happen with Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. They went all around the world, all around Europe, and then we ended up finding out a week later they got a divorce. The thing is, whether they're doing everything they can to make it work, but their mind is set either by a second party or their mind was already set in the beginning. We don't know. But seeing how they were on social media as much, talking about their marriage and talking about themselves, and she was on there a lot, lets me know that y'all about to break up. Y'all about to end it. It's something that's going to happen. But I'm not gonna put any faults on anybody. They're older than me. They have been alive longer than me. Their marriage has gone on for 40 years. They're the only ones that know what went wrong and whether or not it's best to leave. Because sometimes it is the best call to end it. Instead of just sticking through and just keep going, sometimes it's best to end it just to keep things cordial. Their kids are grown. That's not really the issue. That's probably what they were waiting on, but that's just my theory. And most marriages, they do that. They wait until their kids are grown and out the house, then they make the decision to break up. Because they don't want to, number one, that takes them out of the whole child support thing. And the only thing they might have to worry about is alimony, depending on how much she makes. He will probably have to pay alimony, but that'll be the only thing he'll be paying. He won't be paying child support because everybody's grown and take care of themselves. So and also there's a whole financial thing into that. Whether they have several houses, several properties, who's going to split what up, if they had a prenup, a postnup. If they've been married that long, they have to have a postnup. And people say the same thing about Will and Jada. Will and Jada's been married for a long time too. But Will probably wasn't smart enough to get a postnup. And they have to go through all that, separating assets throughout the years to see what works and what don't work. And depending on where they are, if they're in California, they got to split it up 50-50. So that's going to take even longer. It's a lot of legal things that is thrown into this as well as financial. So I'm not going to say, oh, they're horrible people. She's just trying to go for his money. No, because if she did, she would have left him a long time ago. But we don't really know. And instead of us trying to make theories on why, just accept that it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes there's stuff. I don't think this is a Tia Mowry, Corey Hardrick situation where one side just wanted to be the one party wanted to actually stay married that actually, as we're finding out now, didn't do anything wrong, while the other party wanted to be divorced because she wanted to live her best life and all that. Now, meanwhile, the ex-husband Hardrick is actually, although I don't know about going into Tyler Perry movies, but nevertheless, he is actually doing pretty well, while Tia Mowry, while she's not going to be in the poorhouse anytime soon, she just feels very erratic. And Regina pointed this out to me about her off camera, and I got that vibe from her too. She seems very pretentious. I don't get that from the judge and his soon-to-be ex-Mrs.
No.
I don't get that vibe from them.
He's more of a straight shooter, and he has to be in the business he's in. I mean, especially the fact this is entertainment court, not actual court. but he's more of an entertainer. For those who've actually watched Judge Mathis' shows over the years, he's an entertainer. In this case with Tia, the Mowry twins, I kind of knew which one was a laid back one and which one wasn't. And we knew that Tamara was she was the clown. She was the clown, the one that just liked having fun, the one that didn't take everything seriously. And then you got Tia, who acted like she had a giant tree shoved up her ass on a regular basis. And she probably still has splinters from trying to pull it out. But the thing is, that's what I got from her the first time that I actually encountered the Mowry twins when they were on Sister Sister. And even when they were in Disney movies over time. And that's just how Tia is. She's a very pretentious person that does not like to show weakness. And she just wants to be perfect all the time. She's kind of sort of the black Gwyneth Paltrow, except Gwyneth Paltrow is more down to earth than her in that case.
Yeah. She has a personality similar to Gwyneth. Gwyneth, though, is more down to earth, and she's a little bit better about keeping her business under wraps than Tia is.
Yeah, I mean, she came off incredibly pretentious, especially with her whole blog goop, which I have seen some of her blogs, and I'm like, okay, this is a world I know I don't live in. But the thing is that when it comes to marriage and how she, especially her marriage to Chris Martin and how that broke apart, which broke my heart because I love those two. But the fact is, how she handled it was different than how anybody else handled it, but it worked. They both move on with their lives. She got remarried, he got remarried. You know, they moved on with their lives. They're actually doing the best for their kids, and whatever they did, it worked. They made it civil. And, you know, even though he wrote pretty much the most tragic album I ever heard in Ghost Stories, and you definitely have to have like something in you to want to listen to it without being depressed. But honestly, whatever they're doing now works, and they worked it out with themselves. With Tia, the whole thing about wanting to live your best life, which I think is probably the most cliche term I've ever heard in your life.
It's become that, yes.
Because you're living life. Like, what is your best life but living life, but being alive, discovering things new every day? I mean, Irvin and I actually went to a few wonderful, amazing places on Saturday.
Yeah, and just briefly going into that, she wanted me to go to Pipestem State Park Resort, which I knew where it was. I've known where that place is since I was a teen. Since I was a late teen, early adult. Though, and I've been there a few times, but I've never been there to walk a trail. I went there to walk a trail. When she was with me, she's like, "Oh, well, be careful and pace yourself." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm not going to put your personal. I'm not going to put your personal business out there.
It's okay. I deserve it because I was the one saying, "Oh gosh, I hope you're all right. I hope you can handle these trails." Because I didn't think that he would be walking for that long on a trail, and come to think he's better than me. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hide it. I have asthma, so sometimes I have asthma attacks when I go up, when I go up like certain elevations for a long period of time. I've never walked 3 miles non-stop before. I've always rested at least 1 mile and then kept going. I did not know the trails in West Virginia were like this. I just thought that they had a place you can sit and then you go and keep going. It's non-stop. He handled it better than me, and I had to stop at mile 3 to get my inhaler out.
To give you an idea, I'm not going to reveal her weight, but I'll reveal mine. I'm 6'2". I'm about, right now, I've actually lost a couple of pounds. I'm about 318. But you see, this comes from years of walking around when I was like a kid through late teens. I didn't have a driver's license until I was 17. I walked everywhere. In fact, still occasionally, I will still get up and walk somewhere. I would leave my car parked and walk somewhere, not very far, just maybe down to the local grocery store, which is on Bluefield Avenue. Those that are from here, you know what I'm talking about, old Grants. Sometimes I'll walk down there, sometimes I'll walk into downtown and then walk back home home. So I was like, okay, let's see how bad these trails are. And I was doing better than her.
Yeah.
You see, no, us West Virginians, and I'm talking everybody. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care what race you are. We know something about walking somewhere. Because, I mean, if you ever walk them trails, everybody, myself, no matter who you see, male or female, even some of the little kids, they got leg muscles for days. Their calves be out there, the men and women. And some of them be old. Some of them older than me. I'm almost 50 years old.
We saw like
late 60s and 70s with better developed legs than some people.
Yes.
than some people in their 20s.
We saw like some seniors out there, and they had better calf muscles. Their muscles were almost the size of Schwarzenegger's, and they were in their 60s, and they're like just straight up walking. And it was something that we didn't anticipate. But after that was when he surprised me to take me to him.
Yeah, because
I've never been,
and it was spur of the moment because I got to the end where you go get out of Pipestem. I was getting ready to head back to Bluefield, but then I thought, I've been meaning to take her to Hinton. I meant to do it when she visited me for a week a year ago. But I said, you know what? Screw it. I just started, she was like, well, where are you going? I said, oh, I've been meaning to take you down here. So we rolled down there. We ended up stopping at a place called Bluestone Lake where they've set up, the almost heaven swing and everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And let me tell you something. I will never get in that lake a day in my life, but I could sit by the side and watch that lake for probably several minutes, if not hours.
We actually have the reels and everything on our Instagram.
Yes.
So, I mean, mine's like TheNatureGirl30. So if you're interested to check that out, it's actually on that Instagram. But we went to Bluestone Lake. Absolutely gorgeous. And me, I'm a nature person. I love being outdoors. That was probably one of the best surprises. And I say one of because he surprised me again later on. But when we went to, I think it was New River Gorge Park and Reserve.
Yeah, Sandstone Falls to be exact. Actually, there's two fall spots, but I took her to the Sandstone one. There's actually another one before the Sandstone one that we put past.
And I think that we didn't go to Bluestone State Park, but we're probably going to go there next time. Maybe, but that'll be next on our list of things to do. I definitely want to go there before the fall because West Virginia, from what I've seen in so many pictures, is gorgeous in the fall. That's where I really want to go. But honestly, we went to Sandstone Falls. Absolutely gorgeous. Loved it. And if you honestly consider that, isn't your best life just living? Just actually just living life instead of being in a hole? You don't have to find the perfect guy or the perfect woman, which does not exist.
Nope.
Because everybody is flawed. I know I am. I ain't gonna deny I'm a flawed person.
Because if I wanted that, I would just, well, actually, like you said, there's no such thing. But I would have just said, I've even told you many times, if I was not seeing you, I'd probably just still be single. Just get the, let's just,
Or
how can I say this in a nice way? Let's just say I just get the man who would take care of once in a while, but that's it. But that's it.
Or you would probably be in an interracial relationship.
Yeah, more than likely. Because not that I don't, obviously she's a black woman. Not that I don't love this black woman, but I've often told her I probably would have dated her even if she wasn't black, because she happens to be a good, wonderful woman who just happens to be black. I look at it that way rather than be wanting a black woman, because I mean there's been a few times I could have went the other way. I mean, and there were a few that were kind of interested, but it just either I didn't want to take them up on it at the time, or when I was ready to, other circumstances happened, like maybe somebody else was involved, or in the case of one, I won't name them, but in the case of one, unfortunately, around the time that I thought about contacting her, saying, "Hey, how about us dating?" I went and found out that she had committed suicide. There were some other issues going on that I didn't know about at the time.
Yeah, and he told me about her, and that's still incredibly tragic, probably to this day for him.
Yeah, so yeah, there were a few times I could have went that way. It just so happens.
I'm a consolation prize.
No, you're far from that. And let me say, I know you're just kidding, but let me say this right now. If I considered you a constellation prize, I'd just assume just let you go because you deserve better than that. Anyway, but that's what I say on the Judge Mathis thing. We really don't know, and I don't get the vibe there was any real scandal.
No, not between either one of them. I think that we're just so used to chaos, especially when it comes to relationships ending. We're expecting somebody cheated on who someone else messed up, instead of it just being something simple, to where that the love is just maybe dissipated and they just want to go their own way. And it seems like that, how, to be honest with you, how they found out, people are automatically blaming her because of the whole modern woman trope. And it's so easy to down modern women, but understand this, they have a mentality thinking that if they act this way, they'll get the perfect whatever.
This woman is very, this woman isn't too far from my mom's age.
Yeah.
My mom is like almost mid-70s, and this woman...
But she's like 62, so she's about maybe a decade younger.
But she ain't too far from that generation.
No.
I don't get that vibe from this woman at all. I understand what some YouTubers are saying, because that is a trope, but it's mainly with the more like
30 and 30, 20, and 40-year-olds.
Yeah, it's mainly with them. The 60-year-olds, no. I don't get that trope at all.
You
At
might
best,
get that from 50-year-old women, though.
Yeah, but with women that age, 60s and up, nah. If anything, after she divorced, as far as that goes, if anything, she's probably not gonna look for another man. If anything, she probably look for, she probably try to live her life. Wish the best for her soon-to-be ex-husband, and she probably just get somebody trusted, to do the plumbing once in a while. That's about it. That's about it. Yeah, some older women are like that. They don't want no regular man. They don't want no, I want to be remarried to somebody else or get love of my life. Some women are like, know what? I'm enjoying the rest of my life. We had what we had. It was good, but it was just time for us to break up. I'm just gonna live my life. Maybe once in a while get somebody to take care of business, but I ain't trying to get with them. Nah. Some women do things. Some men too.
I don't think that's the case with her, though. She's been married with this man. She's been with this man for nearly 40 years. When you're with somebody that long and it doesn't work out, you're not going to be too itchy to go and find somebody else to take his place. Now, Judge Mathis, on the other hand, he might. Most men, and this is something that has been recorded, most men who go through divorce are quick to find somebody new within a matter of months.
And usually it's somebody younger, which I must be weird because I prefer women within my age. I tend to either lean a little bit older or younger, but not young.
In his case, if he does start dating somebody, I wouldn't be shocked. She'd be either in her late 30s or early 40s.
Yeah, I don't see him messing with somebody like young.
No, because he doesn't really seem like the type of person that will tolerate buffoonery. And let's be real, most women and even men in their 20s have a lot of buffoonery left in them. So he's probably want to have someone a little serious, and you're going to get somebody in their late 30s or early 40s that's like
that. And we even talked about just messing with each other once, just picking with each other once about, well, if you did leave, where'd you be going? In my case, if I did get with, if something happened between me and Regina and I did get with somebody else, I'm not going young.
No.
It's probably going to be like late 30s at youngest, and probably a little bit older than I am, like mid 50s at oldest.
I can honestly imagine him with somebody in their mid 30s. Someone who's still able to have children, as well as be young enough to where they're not annoying.
yeah, because I ain't got time for that. I didn't have time for that in my 20s and 30s. I damn sure don't have time for it at almost 50.
And I know, like, with the both of us talking like that, I know people like, well, y'all probably on your way to break up. No, we're secure in where we are.
No.
In our relationship, and most people should be like that. They should be open to talk. However, and in this case with them, it just didn't work. Like with the Mathises, it just didn't work.
Well, it worked for a long time, but something broke down. And that happens.
Yeah.
That happens. Sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes you can't work it out. Sometimes, I mean, you should try to work it out. That whole, once you get married, you stay married. I think that's a dangerous trope to go on. I really do. I think it's stupid, and I think it's a dangerous trope. Now, I do think you shouldn't jump out of marriage very quickly, especially over stuff that can be fixed.
Yeah.
Especially over stuff that can easily be fixed. But when you got people, when it's something obviously that cannot be negotiated on, or one side is trying to work on it but the other side isn't, or if there's this is more serious, if there's abuse going on, that whole once you get married, you stay married no matter what. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, hence why I put the parental at the beginning. That's a bunch of, that really is. It really is. That's a bunch of BS. No man or woman. And I'm gonna put it out there because most people focus on women, but I'm gonna say men too. No man or woman deserves to have hands put on them in anger because their partner can control themselves.
No, and that goes for both sides because men can get abused too, not just women. And it's not good for either person to do that. Regardless of how frustrated you are, you handle your frustrations in a different way. Yeah,
and that whole stay married no matter what. You know how many people have gotten killed because they've had that dogma? And sometimes I wish some of these groups and some of these churches could be charged with it, but they've had that dogma pushed upon them. And they had it so drilled in their brain to the point where they're afraid to because they're afraid of what everybody else think. I say screw what everybody else thinks.
If anybody says that, and especially in church, it's okay to question them because I can tell anyone till the cows come home. Look at 1st and 2nd Corinthians. That is practically a manual for people who are married. And if you read that, and I think that there's also a chapter, I can't remember if there's a chapter in Genesis, but I know that 1st and 2nd Corinthians is practically a manual for married people. Now, for those that'll be like, stay together no matter what, that's their mentality. No one should stay through abuse, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. No one should stay through it. No child should get used to that. That is something that you really do need to stay away from and don't embrace. It should not be the norm. And unfortunately, and I hate to say it even for the black community, that chaos is starting to become the norm. And bad relationships are starting to become the norm. That should not be normal. That should not be normalized. So if anybody tells you that, you ignore them, you go your own way, and you do what's best for yourself and your family. Whether it's the husband or the wife, you stay away from that.
Yeah, because that's just dangerous. And who knows? Maybe I'm not saying that's what happened with the Mathis family, but who knows? Maybe that's what went on. Maybe that's what went on there.
It must have been lots of, because think about it. They had 3 kids. They had 2 sons and a daughter. And they raised them until they're grown. I think they're all in their 20s now. And they raised them until they were grown and they were out the house taking care of themselves. being in a relationship, especially when your husband's always gone, when he's filming his show and doing other things, he's always gone, he's not present, you get used to that. You get used to that loneliness to where you fill in the void in other ways. It could be a possibility, and this is just my own personal theory, the fact when his job and his career got so big to where he wasn't always there, and even if he did try, it would not be enough because his job surpassed all that. And it could be a possibility that she knew what he had to do, but she filled in that void in other ways to where she got used to him being gone. And when you're used to somebody always being gone, you don't miss them because you're used to them always being gone. That could be the case. When he decided to stay home a lot more, maybe they realized they just didn't have much in common. Maybe they realized they were always fussing and fighting and there was nothing that they could do to make things work because they were both really strong people mentally. Because if you have two headstrong people, you're going to be butting heads every day. And if there's too many cooks in the kitchen or too many chiefs in the house and there's not enough people listening, then you're not going to be able to communicate. That could be the case with them. She probably got used to him always being gone. She did other things to fill in the void. She forgot that he was there and honestly felt a lot better when he wasn't.
Yeah.
That could be the case. But we don't really know. But we shouldn't really put the blame on anybody for a marriage failure. We don't know why. But it could be the possibility. It could be a variety of things. But honestly, I just wish them both the best. And they're in their 60s. This is their golden years. They need to spend their golden years being happy, whether they're together or not.
Yeah. And that's really all you can hope for there. Do you have anything else?
No, I think I said
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like what I do, subscribe, leave a comment, and thumb up the like button. I mean, it's a small thing. It's a small thing, but it does. I heard it helps with the algorithm. Now, I'm not on here much doing these videos anymore. In fact, you see me with her a lot doing these videos lately. So, hey, doesn't hurt to do that at all. Anyway, that's all I got to say here. I'm out.